saying this is what we're caring about, you know, this decade, this is the sort of stuff that's important. So like, okay, then we'll try to represent that. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so there's all those things. So, or I don't know, we were saying something about liberals or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're gonna go with this. Done. Is the Liberal Party like the U.S. Democratic Party? The U.S. Democratic Party, if it ran in Canada as it is now, would be considered fairly right-wing. So in a sense, there's some overlap there. Like, in a sense, there is some overlap in that, yeah, maybe the Liberals and Democrats are semi-comparable, but in practice, even the Democratic Party in the U.S. is fairly conservative. And I think a lot of European countries would probably feel the same way. If the Democrats ran there with their exact platform, they'd probably be considered to be fairly right-wing, actually. Yeah, someone said, no, the Canadian Conservative Party is the U.S. Democratic Party. Again, these are things that are open to debate and, you know, interpretation and things, but yeah, actually. I mean, there's some people within the Canadian Conservative Party who would be, say, you know, they're a little bit less into immigration. They might, that's not currently one of their platforms, but has been in the past, that they might be a little bit more anti-abortion, for example. And, you know, they wouldn't have legalized marijuana, but if the Conservatives came back into power, I don't think, like, I don't know what their platform is currently. I'd have to double check everything, but I'm betting they're not going to recriminalize marijuana, and, you know, things like that. So yeah, the Conservative Party of Canada, while clearly the right-wing party, might actually be closer in alignment in many ways to the Democratic Party, other than, say, for example, they probably don't have the backing of unions, so therefore that wouldn't be, because the unions aren't really going to support them, so they're not going to necessarily support the unions in terms of, like, political policies as quid pro quo kind of thing. So there might be a little bit of differences there, right? Like, unions are more likely to support the Democrats in the US because who else are they going to support, kind of thing. So it's hard to map one-to-one. Okay, we have one political party power left, so I guess that's it for our turn. Boop. All right. Situation imminent. Oh my god, that is a really thin little margin over here. Gig economy. Yeah. I know it's like super hip, but man, is it bad for people. The gig economy. So it's like extreme freelancing is what this is. So that's on the verge of potentially coming into play. Because technology is good and there's some unemployment, right? So people are doing that. It'd be nice to try to avoid it. We do have a question coming up here. Support democracy protesters. Street protests are taking place in a Ferengi country with historical ties to us. We do a lot of profitable trade with this country, but their government is authoritarian, and we face pressure to openly support the cause of the street protesters. That doesn't sound like anything that happens ever. Every week. In America. Anyway, so, do we believe in democracy or not? This should not be complicated. If the government is showing authoritarian tendencies, then we believe the protesters have a point. Then we should stand by our principles and back them. Not keep quiet, because it earns us money in trade deals to look the other way. I no one wants to upset the orange Cheeto. That would be bad. Something aluminum tariffs. Like, what the fuck? Anyway. Or we can make no comment. We would be angered if we face protesters in our streets, as all democracies do. Right. Everyone's got protesters all the time. It's a good thing that they exist, that they you know, they're there. And foreign leaders started openly backing the protesters against their government. That would be awkward. It would be terrible for our diplomatic relations if this trading partner, if we took the side of the relatively small number of protesters in the streets. So do we support the protesters or make no comment? Be polite. Yeah, be fully Canadian. Oh. Play the Trudeau clip. Is that the one where he, like, stops for like 30 seconds to consider his answer? I love it so much. The right-wing newspapers and stuff were like, what? How could you not just answer right away? And but most everyone else was like, that's pretty amazing. That he, like, hang on, I got to think about how to answer this, because I can't piss off the angry orange man, and yet there are things I want to say. It was a beautiful moment. I think the only better moment from Trudeau in 2020 was speaking moistly. I mean, that's all I need. That's all I need in my life. So chat is fairly split here, actually. Most people are saying no comment, which is interesting. It's very split. But apparently we'll go no comment this time. Done. Ooh, Really upsets the Liberals. And there are a lot of them in Canada, but hey, you guys told me what to do, so we done it. All right, economic forecast, global economy is doing okay. Crime, boy, I don't know, it's going down. Unemployment's fairly low too. So, you know, Canada might be a little easy mode in this game, although whether or not we get reelected might be a whole nother question. Yeah, people aren't that pleased. We've been upsetting the Liberals, and they're our biggest voter group over here, these Liberals. Well, look at total hipster dude over here. I love it. Love it. Sort by strength. So they're really unhappy about, you know, armed police kind of thing, wiretapping, prisoner tagging, CCTV cameras. They don't like any of that. They don't like that we supported democracy protesters. They don't like that we banned single-use plastic. Are you guys intentionally making me piss off our single biggest voting bloc? It's dangerous. That's dangerous. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, it's going down a little bit. That's good. We got some policies kicking in for some of those things. Respiratory disease is still maxed out. Environment, the pollution has actually gotten slightly worse. Go us. All right, protesters are chilling out a little bit. I mean, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Okay, so we do currently have a deficit. It's not a very significant one. It's only $2 billion. Nearly $3 billion. I mean, it's nothing. That's tiny. Although, sort of. I mean, as a ratio to our debt and things, it's good because our debt is currently not embiggening itself very much. One of the big things that can cause a big negative snowball over here and in real life is if our credit rating gets reevaluated. Because right now, our debt interest, we're paying about $3.2 billion a turn in debt interest. If our credit rating goes down, this debt interest will go up dramatically, and it'll be harder and harder and harder to climb ourselves out of there. Yeah, narcotics. Age limit for cannabis. Yep, that's exactly where we are here. Cannabis is basically handled the same way as alcohol. Yeah, pretty much, in that it also varies by province, but that is the current state of things. Oil drilling subsidies. Yeah, so where are those? It would be one of the white ones. That's nuclear. Is this rare earth mining? Right here. Oil drilling subsidies. To encourage investment in new oil and gas drilling, thus raise the supply of fossil fuels energy for the country, these tax breaks effectively subsidize fossil fuels. This will indirectly reduce fuel prices and stimulate the economy, but will be an outrage to environmentalists. And that is true. For example, if we were to take this and we were to drop it down to 0, okay? Or cancel it. Actually, well, that's interesting. Yeah, okay. It says none. We'd still technically be paying a little, and there would still be some effects over here. There'd still be token. I guess it's less none. It's more like token subsidies over here. The environmentalists would basically still be as pissed. We would get no GDP benefit anymore. Oil supply would go down. CO2 emissions would go down. Foreign investments would decrease, and the energy industry would no longer get a boost from this. We are paying like billions in this, though. It feels like pulling back on this is a fairly good idea. We could go, if we go here, so this would cost us 7 political capital. If we go right there, it would be 4 political capital to bring it down this much. We'd be bringing it from 7 billion to 2 billion. So we'd save quite a lot of money. We could just cancel it as well. Canceling would be cheap. Yes. So this costs us 4. Canceling it would also cost us 4. Question is, do we just want to cancel it completely? All right, we got a bunch of hippie dippies in the chat who want to cancel oil drilling subsidies. Done. Let's see what happens. Well, we're going to save a lot of money. Environmentalists are going to be very happy. Our GDP will almost certainly go down a fair bit. But we'll have to find other ways. Maybe we should have implemented renewable energy policies first. If we still have points, maybe we can help with this. Where are the microgeneration loans? Oh, I guess I can search for it. Mandatory? That's not what I was looking for. Maybe we already have it running. Because they're microgeneration subsidies, at least that used to exist in Democracy 3. I'm betting they might just be running as is. Is there a search on this page? Because that might be useful. Right here, probably. Oh, it's eco home regulations. Okay. Oh, there's clean energy subsidies. In economy? So this isn't the same, but might still be. This might still be one of the things we're looking for. Microgeneration basically means at your house. Put some solar panels on your roof kind of thing. And it was very strong in Democracy 3, possibly because the creator of Democracy is keen on microgeneration himself. He's got his own like solar panel setup and stuff at his house. So it was a fairly powerful policy. This could be good. I mean, it's got a cost, but we're not subsidizing the oil anymore. So I think we should definitely do this and possibly max it out. This helps drop oil demand, which is good because we have a reduced oil supply. So we need to lower oil demand to match, which should also happen with hybrid card initiatives and various things like that. Down the list. We're not talking about the mandatory microgeneration, which is a little bit different because that would require people to do it. It didn't show up in the list for just regular one, but maybe it's called something different. I think this is an excellent idea. What's nice, too, because the energy industry took a hit when we canceled the subsidies. But if we're subsidizing clean energy instead, it's going to get it right back. So the energy industry, instead of getting free money from the government, well, free money from the government for oil drilling, it's going to get free energy for wind farms and solar farms and things like that. So they're going to be just as happy, in fact, possibly happier than before. And certainly the environment's going to take a big boost. The capitalists aren't going to like it because, you know, government meddling and things, but I think this seems like a pretty good idea. And at 1.24 billion, it's a bargain when you consider us with canceling our oil industries. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, we've still got 12 points. That was surprisingly cheap to implement. Again, we can just move some sliders around, but early on I kind of like to implement new policies more than anything else. Some of these boards and things could be useful. See, hybrid car initiative isn't that expensive. Everyone likes it, really. It drops oil demand. It does increase the number of motorists. I don't know how much more could increase it, really. But something like that might be nice. Education stuff is good. I would like stuff that boosts education. So public libraries might be nice. Running these campaigns to bring down racial tension might be a good idea. It doesn't get anywhere near as much press as American issues, and admittedly, it is less of an issue as a result of the demographic makeup of Canada, but there's still some pretty significant issues there, especially with native things. So it would be nice to bring a little bit more awareness to that if we can. Bandacook! Oh! Pancake! Thank you very much, Pancake. Hi, Quill, long-time watcher, first-time donator. As a Dutch pancake, there you go. I felt compelled to add to the campaign funds to press those pesky liberals into submission. Thank you very much, Panacook. Very appreciated. And very appropriate as well. Cyber won't happen because we're a lowered economy. That's possible. Cyberbullying awareness. I mean, it's cheap as chips. Parents and youth like it. This is good for voting. It doesn't kick our economy. Doesn't do anything for the economy right now, but does help with maybe getting reelected. We might be able to wait a little bit before we pass this, because really I'm mostly looking to work some of these things. Technology colleges are interesting. It does make more state employees, boost technology. Not that we have much of a problem with that at this time. I mean, even just the Keep Country Tidy campaign, like, it costs virtually nothing. Like, I'll just max this out. It costs virtually nothing, and it helps the environment. It does take a while to kick in, and it does increase the number of environmentalists, but if we're going to care about the environment, and we live there, so it seems like the sort of thing we should care about, it's probably okay to increase the membership of environmentalists, because we're probably going to try to improve the environment overall. So, we'll see. Yeah, I know, First Nations, First Nations people, I guess, gets to be a little bit long. Native is certainly not incorrect, but yeah, preferred terminology is not necessarily something I'm 100% on top of, and I'm open to the feedback, so thank you. Yeah, what else do we want to mess with? What is this? Oh, smart meter program. Like, I'm just wondering, rather than run a new policy, Do we have one of the big things that was good to do early in previous versions of democracy is evolution versus creationism. There it is, right here. Secularity of education. Oh, they just renamed this a little bit. But yeah, how really... Ooh! It takes a lot of political capital to mess with this. A lot of political capital. So right now there's an emphasis on science. And we can't go too far outside of this band. We could bring it up... But okay, it only costs 1 political power to bring it to here. What's with this display, actually? Oh, it's 18. It's just breaking into 2. Never mind. So it would cost us 9 even to just do a little bit of this. Revert change. What's powerful about this is it does affect religious membership. It takes a long time to do, but if you're really working towards making a secular or a religious nation here, that's one of the most powerful tools to do. You know, get them while they're young, indoctrinate them in religion or science, and then, you know, shift your demographics that way long term. What are the policies on top of the spectrum? Over here, so over here we've got transport policies, which we're definitely going to make some change with. How many bus lanes we've got, bus subsidies, car emission limits, the cycling campaign, which is already running, which is nice. Electric car initiative, which is already running. Wow. Road building. So the more of this you've got, it's got pros and cons, because it can help reduce traffic congestion, but it encourages more people to get cars, which then leads to more traffic congestion and things. Over here we've got subsidized school buses, which seems like a fairly good idea. Over on the top right we've got Ferengi policy. So here we've got border controls, which is fairly topical right now. Foreign aid, diplomatic service, tourism ad campaign, overall military spending, citizenship tests, and you know how difficult that is, which is certainly a thing here. I mean, there's less of a conversation about the state of immigration in Canada. It's not, it doesn't get the same amount of press and attention, but it's still a fairly significant topic over here. What is this one in bright green? Oh, the Northwest Passage. Oh, that's funny. So the Northwest Passage is currently open because of the melt, which increases international trade. That's funny. And over here, we've got sort of social welfare things. So unemployment benefits, which can be tweaked, state pensions, disability benefits, which are... What's with the color? I think this is approval. I think the circle on the outside is approval. I thought it might have been where the slider is, but I mean, yeah. So other than the fact that, you know, you spend more money, no one kind of disagrees, or it doesn't have any negative impacts over here other than spending more money. Whereas, yeah, child benefits, the capitalists aren't so keen on this, so it's, you know, mostly green but a little slice of red. And I think the chunk of each one of these slices is based on the size of the demographics that care about this. So only capitalists are bothered by child benefits, but capitalists make up a fairly significant portion of our demographics. So I think that's why it's such a big red slice over here. Color circle shows how you can afford to change a policy. Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, all right. I can afford to change everything, but not. Oh, okay. All right. That's actually. I mean, both ways are good. I kind of, at a glance, it would be nice to know which, you know, how demographically important this is. You can sort by popularity over here as well to see how people feel about various things. So no one likes income tax. No one likes wiretapping. No one likes armed police. Or virtually no one anyway. But yeah, okay, how much we can change these policies. So we can make a pretty dramatic change over here with our intelligence services. We could, you know, really crank it up, upset the Liberals even more. And there's some things that are not shown here. Like, we don't have organized crime, for example. Intelligence services do help fight against that. Organized crime could be something that pops up at some point. And so, you know, preemptively doing this would be good. Presumably, this would probably help with some of the cyber warfare stuff as well. Just like, you know, wiretapping and things. I don't know what I want to do next. That's interesting. Compulsory foreign language classes is maxed out. I assume this is because you are required to have bilingual education, English and French in Canada, but it's not like either one of those is foreign. Well, or both of them, I guess, are foreign, in a sense. I'm assuming this is sort of what that represents. It's maybe not worded entirely accurate for the Canuckian experience, but it's there. Game hunting restrictions. What is this? Oh, intellectual property rights. Yeah, fairly high up. Okay. Gambling. We could just save points for, like, a big change going forward. Oil subsidies have already been cancelled, Buff. Already done so. Oh, man, this respiratory disease. Reforestation, what can we do with this? Measure to combat CO2, tree planting. Well, this is how many trees per year. Okay, this is not very expensive. If we max this out, it doesn't cost us that much. Environmentalists are happy. Pollution goes down, CO2 goes down, unemployment goes down because you're hiring people to go and plant these trees. Respiratory disease goes down, the environment goes up. No one is pissed off, and it's not that expensive. Replant all the trees. Now, where I'm from in Sudbury, it basically, when I was a kid, the area I'm in, it was just black, barren rock everywhere. And the rock was stained black because of massive acid rain from the mining industry, or rather, it's sort of the ore refining part of the mining industry. And there has been massive reforestation that's happened where I am. And it's been, it's been appropriately sort of like recognized and awarded and things like that. Not to say there's not a ton of stuff left to do, but it is actually pretty impressive. So, a little bit of that. All right, we've got basically no political capital. Let's go ahead and hit the next bouton. Okay. Garbage scam. Tons of garbage shipped abroad for recycling has been returned. This is a thing that happened in the news. The containers full of unwanted waste from our society was falsely labeled as recyclable plastics. Environmentalists are outraged by the fundamental failure of our country's recycling program. This national embarrassment has made headlines around the world. Now, I don't know if these events are random or if they're actually based on your policies, like if there was a way to maybe have prevented this or something like that. I think some of the events that happen do get triggered based on policies and situations that you've got going on, like your people winning a Nobel Prize or something like that because of your high sort of education and science rating. So this, I don't know. It sort of sucks. It'll decay over time, but now the environmentalists are pissed, and foreign relations have gone down, which is not good because that's going to hurt tourism and things, which isn't great. Tonight's news headlines. Ooh! Run a small, well-regarded food manufacturer making candy for children, selling all over the country. It's competitive business, but now stretched to breaking point as the company struggles to absorb the price rises caused by government junk food tax. We just cannot stay in business with this tax. All right, we've got a budget surplus. Awesome. We've got some security briefing news. Okay. Monorail. Monorail. We could also do like a Mars space program or something. That could be a lot of fun to do. All right, let's take a quick look-see. Has anything moved? No. Respiratory hasn't even budged one bit. Hospital overcrowding is improving somewhat. We do have a slightly reduced healthcare demand that we're working on. Okay, this doctor strike. I'm betting if we funded the state healthcare more, the doctor strike would start to decrease. But it's like expensive. At the limit of what we can do, I mean, we're more than doubling our expenses. So from about 5 billion to... yeah, so about 6 billion more to do that. Oh, it barely budges the doctor strike as well, actually. It does, but very, very little. If we allowed more private healthcare and stuff like that, that would alleviate some of it because they could get a lot more money. What is this? Oh, executive term limit. And yeah, there is no term limit for our politicians in this country. Labor laws are more effective. Yeah, but the labor laws, I think, would be to crack down on strikes. Doctor strike over here. If we went more pro-employer laws over here, it would bring down doctor strikes and wages and, upset socialism and things like that. It boosts productivity, make capitalists happier, increases the working week. The flip side is like to go like very pro-union. We don't have the points for it right now. But yeah, it would actually encourage the doctor's strike because we would be supporting workers' rights to strikes and things. I don't know if I want to lean pro-employer for those rights, but it's certainly something that could be